Okay, let's talk about Vishgraz the Doomhive. We won't be making a full deck tech because Phyrexia spoiler season isn't over yet, but with the reveal of this commander, I want to start throwing ideas at the wall to see what sticks. And this is because I really want to build Vishgraz tokens, and it has green, so I can finally use all of the green cards sitting in my boxes because I hate green. Vishgraz the Doomhive is a 3/3 legendary Phyrexian insect with Menace and Toxic 1 that costs 2 white, black, green. It says when Vishgraz enters the battlefield, create 3 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature tokens with Toxic 1, and this creature can't block. Vishgraz gets +1/+1 for each poison counter your opponents have. Now, before I get into some cards and themes that we can use for this deck idea, I want to share another idea with you. The players hate Infect. Playing an Infect deck is a very easy way to get targeted by the other 3 players from the very beginning of a match. Once I build this deck and start throwing it down on the table in my future spell table matches, I will immediately become the threat. However, here's the idea. Phyrexians don't want to defeat or destroy their enemies. They want to bring them into the fold, to become one force, to bring the glory of Phyrexia to the multiverse. So what if getting 10 poison counters didn't make you lose the game, but instead completed the opponent? That opponent then could be turned against the other uncompleted players. They would continue to play the game as normal, but you were essentially teammates until the rest of the table became completed as well. Then, if or when all players were completed, we could continue as normal, dealing normal damage, to see which Phyrexian was left standing. It's just an idea, but I personally hated losing to Infect really early on, and I hate winning through poison damage because it feels really cheap, and I like the idea of role-playing as a Phyrexian whose goal is to complete the rest of the table rather than knocking them out as efficiently and early as possible. You can let me know what you think of this idea in the comments below, because this is just my initial concept for the situation. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about some good cards for Vishgraz. Green and white are very strong colors for token support. So of course, if you have them available, Anointed Procession, Doubling Season, Divine Visitation, Parallel Lives, and Second Harvest are great. And if you manage to pull them at the pre-release or buy singles later, Mondrak, Glory Dominus, and Skrelv's Hive would be wonderful additions to this deck also. New cards from All Will Be One are easy includes for this deck. If it has Toxic and is any of these colors, throw it in. With how pushed the mechanic is, it's going to be very easy to make any of the new cards very effective pieces in this deck with the right support. I'm not sure how expensive some of these cards will be, but they're probably worth a purchase if you want to be one with Phyrexia. Necrogen Rot Priest, Bloated Contaminator, Skrelv Defector Might, Venerated Rot Priest, Jawbone Duelist, Mer Convert, Might Overseer, Annex Sentry, Slaughter Singer, and White Sun's Twilight are those easy includes from the set that we know of so far. Now, we can move away from the current spoiler season and see what other cards would utterly break this commander. But before we do, why don't you become one with the channel and hit that like button and sub to the channel. 3% more people who are watching are subbed to the channel, which is fantastic. We're now at 9%, and hopefully we can keep the momentum going to help the algorithm bring videos like these to other players who might like the topics I cover. Thanks. The mites can't block, so their only uses will be for attacking and sacrifice fuel. Behind the scenes is an enchantment that will give all of your creatures skulk, so your mites can't be blocked by anything with greater power, making them very difficult to deal with as long as you don't pump their power. But if you focus on poison counters rather than pumping them for damage, they'll be much harder for your opponents to deal with. Yahera, Friend of the Forest, will turn all of your tokens into mana dorks, so if you're running with other token strategies, this will help ramp into your commander and pay for other expensive cards like White Sun's Twilight. Late game, Divine Intervention would probably be pretty brutal. At the very least, instead of 3 mites, you'll be getting 3 4/4 angels when you cast your commander. Outside of mites, Kadira, Caller of the Small, might be fun to help multiply the number of tokens you're making in general. Teysa Karlov would give all of those tokens vigilance and lifelink, while giving you the chance to utilize death triggers more effectively. If we decide to go aristocrats with this commander, making that many token creatures can make the strategy absolutely backbreaking. Using the classic aristocrats package with Blood Artist, Zulaport Cutthroat, Viscera Seer, Ashnod's Altar, Nadir's Nightblade, Illasil Core, and so on would probably be pretty effective since your commander makes fuel for them at least. Card draw from Tokazia's Welcome and Welcoming Vampire might not be so bad. Rumor Gatherer really needs to see more play because it's just as good in my opinion. If we want to abuse the ETB trigger for more mites, Panharmonicon is a nice include, as well as any number of white blink effects like Cloud Shift to get more mites. We could even use black to let our opponents think they're killing our commander, just for it to return to the battlefield with effects like Demonic Gifts. Vishgraz is pretty exciting for me, and even if I have to miss out on picking up the Precon, I'll probably still pick up this commander by itself as a single, if I pull enough support from doing the pre-release and picking up the completed edition bundle in March. Let me know what you think of Vishgraz in the comments below and what direction you might take it if you pick it up. Like the video if you liked the video, dislike it if you disliked it, and until next time, I'm Space Coconut, and you're welcome.